everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name's Rebecca of Artistrebeccals, and this is the channel where we have fun with art. Today is a sketchbook tour. Let's go. Okay guys, so this is my second Hahnemühle Bamboo sketchbook that's been completed. A5 size, and it's 105 GSM, 128 pages. I have made the closure myself. It is just a ribbon that's been wrapped around, and it works out a lot better than my other concepts I had come up with. And it is just glued to the back of the sketchbook, and I've added an envelope, but we're ahead of ourselves. I started this on May the 16th 2025, and I purchased it from Art Miranda, and I just stuck one of my mini drawings that I've done on chocolate wrappers. And then this is, I have a feeling that this was markers. I used probably the Crayola markers on that. I'm having quite a lot of fun with them. It really loosens up the work. And this is Holbein watercolours. And I used, it looks like marker pen at the back here probably. And then I was having a go at doing monkeys, because I follow, I can't pronounce the name probably, but in Sierra Leone there's a monkey rescue centre sanctuary. I follow them. I think it's called Takuna, I'm not sure, but I have been practicing drawing monkeys. It's difficult. Then I did some blueberries, more boat scenes, and this is like a Cornish scene with the boats and the lifesavers and the buoys. And then more blueberries, and cherries and orange slices. I do enjoy doing these orange slices, and these were done with acrylic marker, whereas these are watercolours. Then I did this abstract pattern, just drawing with a Posca for the black outline, Posca acrylic marker, and then just filling it in with other acrylic markers and watercolour. And then this bird and this sunflower. And again, that's a mix of watercolour and acrylic marker. And then this is interesting. This owl was done in watercolour, and then this page was blank for a while. And I came back to it and used the Crayola markers to duplicate this, or just to do a different version of it. And it looks completely different using different media. This looks more realistic, and this looks more cartoony because of the colours. Then some plums and apples. And I quite like doing these little kind of thumbnail box style. This was just very loose watercolour play about with leaves. And I they were dwarf French beans. I was trying to grow them in my new kind of hydroponic electronic device, but it's a total failure. Nothing has grown in there. It's quite frustrating. So then I had a go at doing dragon fruit, and I used the Pebeo acrylic, very bright fluorescent pink marker for that, which worked out brilliant. And then this was just creating maybe animals or whatever I could see from blobs of paint on the paper. And then I've done pears, one whole one, and then the inside of one. Again, that was watercolour. This was just a sketch from using either, I think Google Street View or Google Maps, something like that, And it's places in France, so Montmartre and Brittany. I didn't colour them, it was just a sketch. And again, I did the same thing, and it is a place in Paris called the Avenue of Saint Cloud, which I thought was interesting. But I quite like doing the cars. I thought they came out quite cute. This is completely made up out of my head. So you've got lots of lovely pinky purple mountains and tiny little houses in between the mountains, with over the top of them you have a little lighthouse, because the ocean will be the other side. Then we have this dolphin who's come to say hello. Again, that is watercolour and neocolour, I'll say there. And neocolour again here. And then I thought this was interesting. It just came out my head to do a bridge, and this kind of clock tower with the houses. And then a kind of Scapigliata inspired. And then panels, but this came out quite nicely. And just random ocean stuff. Then I decided to do a tomato. And this was using the whole bean. I get the ink people. I get so confused. There's whole bean and whole bean. And it is that pen that I refilled using whole bean watercolours that I turned into ink. I thought this was fun to do. Animals I haven't really done. The dog and the turtle and the pig. And again, this is watercolour. And I use that pen to outline the boxes. Then I've done another dog, again watercolour, and then I used the art graph, and it was inspired from an actress from the original TV series The Fugitive. And I wrote the episode, and this was June the 1st. And then I just did some random items that I thought caught my eye, and this was another sea turtle. Just random things. Then I did this fish and another fish, different versions in watercolour. And then I've used an Indian red, I think, or brick red from Holbein. And then this was using my other ink I created from those watercolours. Goose. And I think my first attempt at a monkey. And I used, for the texture, acrylic markers. And then I used those acrylic markers, the fluorescent colours, to create this. And then this is watercolour. Another go at a monkey. And just some pencil and graphite work here. As well as some, I think, the matte acrylic. Another monkey. And this was inspired from an image one of you lovely followers on Instagram shared. And I was inspired and drew that. And then having a go at doing different dogs. That came out a bit scary, so I stopped. But I was using the Crayola markers for the background. Dogs again, watercolour, and then some leaves. And this feels to me like it was gouache and acrylic marker, and the same here. And then this was interesting. It is the gouache, and I think that's it actually. Probably outlined with the Posca pen. And watercolour again. And I probably started with the Crayola markers to sketch. And again, this is just using a red pen. And I think it could be Crayola. I can't quite remember. Different versions of Scapigliata. And then thumbnail. And then this was kind of didn't go so well. It's more of a concept idea. This was using the Crayola markers for sure. Just testing what they could do in this sketchbook. And then this is a mix of Crayola and watercolour. And Crayola again. You can see how intense the markers work in this sketchbook. And then this was doing a dragon fruit again. And then some carrots. Fruits and Scapigliata. Cherries. Blackberries. Again, acrylic markers, watercolour or Crayola. I thought this was fun to do two different versions. This is Crayola using the blue. That was nothing. Crayola for this and for this. And this was definitely a mix of using the Art Deco Americana, which is matte acrylic paint, and then I went over with markers. That's our TV remote control, one of them. Just wanted to capture that. This is Crayola again. And here, and here, and here. I think I was just using a lot of them from now on to test because of the challenge that I am doing on Instagram. That did not come out so great. And then Crayola again, doing these flowers. Then I used some Caran d'Ache oil pastels, I think Neo Art. And then a little of them over here, but more watercolour and Crayola. Then these are acrylic ink splops. So I just did some dots, shut the page, squished it all, and then used a white Posca pen to outline the moths. This is the red Crayola again. And here, patterns, and then portrait, it normal, and then doing two different weird colours of the same person. And then that was just random. These are the markers, and I think it's all markers actually from Crayola. And then this was just a sketch I did for Murder, She Wrote. I paused an image and quickly sketched it. And then this was just a random pattern, and that's the end of the sketchbook. This was a reference image I just stuck in, and the envelope for my printouts and chocolate wrappers. And then that's it. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope that you found this interesting. I'm going to catch you on the next video really soon. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe and share my video. And I'm going to catch you really soon. Bye.